Here's the shift in my focus that's been life-changing in a big way.
Discipline looks like a decision where you overcome the resistance.
2021 belongs to the most focused and disciplined.
But thank you for bringing my embarrassing story to the world in perpetual motion. This is why you have friends, people.
Happy Growth Day. Good morning, everyone.
Literally just finished my shake, and Jamie and I, we always do the pre-Growth Day morning show. So her and I jump on, we share about things. And right before she tuned in, I didn't see her bounce on and like her and I chat in advance. And I'm like mowing down this super thick morning shake.
And I'm like sitting over here licking my hair down. I don't know if anybody ever, I don't know if anyone's ever was raised this way, where you had a parent that just was like, they'd see something and they'd lick their hand and wipe it off your face or lick your, and anyways, I was just listening to Brendon and I just found myself like about to do that with my own hair. So good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Growth Day. Oh my gosh, what a morning start, because it's just, there's so much going on in the world. And I keep getting all these DMs and all these messages. Are you watching this impeachment trial that's happening in the US? Are you listening to this news? Or I get links every day. Did you hear my new podcast? Or I'm launching my book or everything. And what I really believe this theme of this week, which is you becoming more focused and disciplined, I think that's an urgent conversation. Like I'm taking this so seriously with my clients, where just the other day I was telling a bunch of clients, hey, you got to knock down your meetings from hour long to 30 minutes. You got to make sure everything you are doing is moving the needle. You've got to turn out all the noise. You don't have to consume everything everybody sends you. You don't have to watch every link, watch every video, just unless you had it on your learning map or on your inspiration map. Just be careful of everyone sending everything. It's so much right now. I really believe 2021 belongs to the most focused and disciplined.
Oh, 2021 belongs to the most focused and disclised.
Yeah,
good.
I'm so passionate about that right now. So I hope you all will take a minute while we're here today on the Growth Day morning show and just be like, okay, it's always fun with Jamie and Brendon, but we also hope it's just a little gut check every day, a little more self-awareness, a little bit more mindfulness, bring a little more joy and intention to your day, because you deserve to feel great. But if you are being pulled in 1,000 directions that you said yes to, or I promise you that steals so much of your time. Yeah. And time is life. Time is life. And I'm saying this particularly because I struggled with it yesterday. So this is not me being the high performance guy who has everything locked down. It's like, dang it, yesterday, anyone lose maybe like an hour yesterday to distraction or to something that was not on your radar, but somebody put it on your radar?
Yeah. Well,
that every day can become extremely dangerous to your joy of life.
Yeah.
That's like every day for a month. If that happened, that means you lost a full work week, basically lost a full work week. So just be attentive. That means you did work 3 weeks, but you were there for 4. And so it's something to think about.
Yeah. And on that, I love when you do the calculation. Actually, I'm going to ask you to share that again in a second, because I think that's so powerful when we actually put in perspective how much time, even just losing a little bit of time, numbing out, scrolling Instagram or whatever it is, and will you share actually? Then I have one thought I want to share about Zoom and the impact Zoom is having on so many of our lives in terms of focus, in terms of distraction, in terms of time. But one of the things that you share that's so powerful is just simple math, that it's easy for us to, how on a credit card, everyone like gets their first credit card and they think like, oh, I've barely spent anything. And then all of a sudden they get a bill and they're like, what? Right? And we start to learn that ability to sort of like subconsciously do math of what we're spending and what we can expect that bill to come in at. I mean, what we haven't mastered is, we're in this brand new social media world. And I mean, listen, the Growth Day morning show, now that is worth the time. But
the question is, does it inspire you? Does it give you perspective? Does it help you enjoy the day?
Yes.
I think no one should ever call personal development a waste of time.
Nope.
Because what it is it's time regrooving and rewiring your brain. So when the real struggle comes up,
Yep.
The voice of strength and confidence and
Yes.
positivity and optimism and readiness and joy and gratitude is so ingrained in there that it mows over the crappy self-talk.
That's so true. Totally. And one of the big things I've been realizing, especially in the process of launching my book, which is out in 12 days, but I'm hearing from so many people now coming into the book group and all the stuff, right? And they're saying, I just feel like I've let my light dim. I feel like this last year has been so hard that I don't even know if I still have a light inside me. I'm like, oh, wow, we're in a moment in time where it's so important now more than ever, I would say, because people are tired, they're feeling powerlessness, they have so much uncertainty in their life. And I think bringing something like this, and thank you so much, Brendon, for doing this, and bringing something like Growth Day, but also the Growth Day morning show, where, even people that just have 10 minutes or 30 minutes in the morning and just need to reignite their light. That is my hope and prayer for this show, is that everyone learns to dream again, to hope again, to feel inspired again, and to invest in themselves again, right? Because it's like that's how we also pour into everyone else. And so, yeah, I'm so excited and proud to be part of the show, and also just honored. Everyone's time is so precious. The blessing of all of our times together right now, I think it's really powerful. So just want to say thank you, Brendon, for doing Growth Day, and also for this show, that we do every day. We're week 5 now, week 5 of doing this every day.
Wow. And we it's so funny. In 5 weeks, we've cried together about memories in our lives. We've talked about the struggles we face in just believing in ourselves and staying motivated and dealing with all this energy around the world we've talked about how to find our confidence again. We've talked about having vision, and we're having these conversations every day. And for those who are parents, or those of you lead your teams, those who are entrepreneurs, think about how important it is that you are imparting these key messages to your teams: vision, confidence, belief, readiness, joy, harmony, balance, openness, good communication. These are the values of personal development. And when we talk about feeling more alive and being more mindful, when we talk about feeling more connected and caring for other people, when we talk about finding our meaningful pursuits again, we're putting life back into people. We are putting hope back into people. We are putting readiness back into people. You talk about personal development. We do the Growth Day morning show because if you can start the morning with a foundation of personal development, you look at your struggles throughout the day differently. You go, you know what? I am strong enough for this. Or you know what? I will be resilient through this. When you start with the foundation of personal development, every struggle, every setback, every sadness has now perspective. You go, I am stronger. Oh, I heard someone go through this and they came out on the other side just fine. Oh, look, we have thousands of people every morning. You guys type in chat where you're coming from right now.
Yes.
Thousands of people from all over the world watch this. Some 50,000 people watches the replays. It's like we have this worldwide community in Growth Day. And it's people coming together who believe in the idea that it's not always just, some new inspiration you need. It's that you need a foundation. You need a foundation of good things busting into your ears, of a foundation of a community of people who are like you, who really want to achieve, who really want to be great parents, who want to be great caregivers. Most people don't care about personal development because they gave up. The people who really care about personal development, they're still on the path. There's still hope. There's still a spark. They know there's another level and they love rising up to it. And they love They love the motivation of hearing people talk about there is another level for me and my family. There's more wealth. There's more joy. There's more impact. That's why I do personal development. This morning, I sit there, I literally, all my workout, I always listen to personal development, right? A bunch of YouTube shows, a bunch of apps I go through, a bunch of podcasts. It's 100% personal development every single morning in my workout and my morning routine, right? It's a big part of what I do when I'm in my movement. And if I didn't do that, I know I would sabotage myself. So instead of sabotaging myself throughout the day, I set myself up to win by ingraining the messages that say, simple things of keep going, just do it, believe. There's other people like you. You got this. That stuff, that gets me going.
Yes, it's so good. And, I love this. A lot of people are looking for how can I add one thing into my life that helps me get back on the right track, helps me get unstuck from 2020 and all the things, or just this tough season, right? And I think even one simple habit in the morning, just that reframes your whole day. And there's people out there like, oh, I try to work out and then I just would rather sleep in and I hit the snooze button. Listen, whether it's meditation, whether it's just showing up for the Growth Day morning show, like if you just add the Growth Day morning show into your morning routine, think about the power. Think about doing that for a month or 2 months and just the impact, right, that it's going to have, because exactly that, it's carving new grooves in our brain. It's learning that resiliency. And one thing, this whole week, we have a theme every week that we talk about and share stories about and share inspirations and sometimes frameworks and sometimes, research and then sometimes goofy jokes. It's all of it. But
I have no jokes. Everyone knows. I am the joke, but I have no jokes. There's nothing funny about me.
No, I can't even handle seeing your blender anymore. I'm just going to say it. Anybody who has been if you've been part of the Growth Day Morning Show, you were here for the episode where Brendon described his morning with his blender, running by his wife, almost late to the show. If you know, right? I always say this.
You have to be a part of this community to remember that one.
If you know. So many people are posting the Growth Day Morning Show. I was sharing this the other day. A lot of you are sharing this, right? Because so many people out there could really love a boost of joy, need a boost of joy and inspiration and hope and belief in themselves. And so a lot of you are sharing this, screenshotting us on Instagram or all of us together on Facebook, and you're posting it. And I was sharing this the other day that so many of you are saying, if you know, Growth Day Morning Show, IYNYN.
Oh, is that what that means?
IYKYK.
Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, I
literally just almost spelled no wrong. If you know, IYKYK.
It is early there. It's okay. It
is early. But I love that. So what I will say is, so many of you guys are posting, if you know about the Growth Day Morning Show. I would say the same thing about Brendon's blender. So I bet you for the next 10 years, he's going to be on stages globally, talking to millions of people. He'll probably talk about all his frameworks and his morning routines. And anytime he's going to talk about his morning routine from here on out, and when he talks about his morning smoothie.
Only if you don't just stop right now. If you stop right now, it's done. It was a moment. But thank you for bringing my embarrassing story to the world in perpetual motion. This is why you have friends, people, so they can make sure everyone knows the embarrassing parts of your life.
I'm never going to think of it the same again. It's going to happen forever. And if you know, if you're part of the Growth Day Morning Show.
Jamie, you're in a great mood this week. I've had actually people comment on DM, like, you're always bright and shiny, and you're always like, it's just like you're such a radiating just beam of joy every day. But this week is it because we're in week 5? Is it because you're closer to your book launch? Believe it. Is it like what do you think has caught your morning rhythm? Is it we got into the rhythm? Is it something's coming up? What's going on?
Listen, we're talking about focus this week, and the truth is I'm intentionally focusing. And what I mean by that is you want the real truth. Brendon, you get the real stuff in the pre-show, right? Where yesterday I mentioned, like, I was almost bawling my eyes out before the morning show yesterday because, listen, a lot of us that are passionate about our projects or our dreams or our things, like, I've poured more of myself into this book than anything I've ever done. I believe it's the best work of my life. I believe it's going to serve and bless so many people. As you know, I'm donating 100% of the proceeds. I'm literally just doing it to serve. But who I am, and maybe you guys can relate to that. A lot of you can relate to this in the community. When I'm going to do something, my tendency, my humanness, is to put so much pressure on myself and to want to do it with such a level of excellence. So those are my tendencies. And in this season, for the first time, because, when I built It Cosmetics, it was a 10-year journey of going 3 years of no's and constant rejection and having to get back up every time I got knocked down. And then finally starting to get yeses. And then finally starting to hire employees and build teams and create missions and create focus inside It Cosmetics, right? And lead and really learn how to lead and how do we come into a crowded industry and actually make a difference, actually have meaningful pursuits as a company, right? As a team. And went through that whole journey. I was so driven during it that I forgot to enjoy it, a lot of it. I was so passionate about what I was doing that I forgot to enjoy it. And so this week, if you want the real truth, it's 20-hour days. It's more, I have more stress this week leading up to the book launch. I haven't even announced this on social, but Brendon, you know, I'm doing this huge launch event, which I'll invite everybody, of course, part of the GrowthDay community. It's free. I have some of the most incredible, inspiring human beings on the planet that are showing up for me and for you to speak their live for free. Like, it's this big thing, right? And now, instead of a 1,000-person team, like at Cosmetics, I have Sarah that ran, Holly that ran, but other than that, it's pretty much, I'm trying to figure it all out. So my point is this: I've been more stressed out in this past week, or had more reasons, I should say, more things just stacking. And I'm doing it differently this time. And this is what's, I think, such a part of growth for all of us, right?
Tell us what that means, because my question was, you're in a different mood this week than even last week or the week before. So what is that then? So you're saying you're doing it differently. Like, what is it? What is it?
It's focus. And what I mean, so let me actually, I'm going to read you a quote I wrote down that a friend told me that sums it up exactly. And this ties into yesterday. Oh my gosh, yesterday on Growth Day, a lot of you were saying, oh, we don't know how to lose. Like we were talking about how when we have losses and setbacks, we don't know how to handle them. And we were talking about discipline and focus isn't about doing everything right. It's about knowing how to handle it when things go wrong, or when we drop balls, or when we miss the appointment on our calendar, or all those things. And here's the shift in my focus that's been life-changing in a big way. Okay, so I'm in a season with all the stress where I care so much about this book launch, and yet I feel what you're talking about. I feel inspired to be present and to serve on the morning show however I can. I feel that. And my friend actually said this quote to me, Rory Vaden. I don't know if you know Rory Vaden, and he is amazing. Anyways, he said, he wants me to remember this because, I talk about my intention to serve. And I know a lot of you in the community right now have an intention, a bigger, who needs you on your A game today, right? To use Brendon's words, who needs you on your A game, that bigger intention. And I was talking about all the things I'm setting up for this big event happening in 12 days. I'm talking about all the things I'm doing. And yet I remembered these words: I'm here to help. I'm not here to accomplish. And when you risk with your heart leaning forward, if you're here to accomplish, there's wins and losses. But if you're here to help, there's only wins. And those words have just stuck with me. If you're here to help, there's only wins. And what that means to me is, oh, Jamie, you were up until midnight. I was up till midnight last night drafting emails for It Cosmetics to share with their customers. All the things. Were they perfect? Was all the things, right? But guess what? I'm not here to accomplish. I'm here to help. I know the intention of what I'm doing, and therefore it's only wins.
Intention and process. We say intention and process over outcome obsession. It's like, okay, I'm here, I'm in the journey, I'm in the process, I'm showing up for it, I'm doing my best, I'm gonna make sure I enjoy it, I'm gonna put myself into this, but I'm also, it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to achieve this thing. It's not about the status, the fame, the money, the sales. It's about, okay, I'm showing up for this idea, I'm showing up for this intention. It's easier to show up for a big vision and a big idea than it is for like a certain, specific outcome over a period of time. So
and also when we shift our mindset that actually just the journey of intending to be on your A game for someone else, that's the win. It's not the outcome. It's not the outcome, right? And so that's what I'm focused on. And it's
the shift. That's the shift for you this week.
Big shift is just really remembering that and enjoying this journey. Listen, so many of you guys I know because I read your comments, I read your stories, I read your posts, I read everything that you guys share. And I try to get through all of my DMs. I try to get through all of it. And a lot of you share this, that we have these goals and we have these dreams, but literally we're so busy, we're so overwhelmed, we're so stressed out, we're so distracted that we forget to enjoy it. We forget to feel the day. We forget to find the meaning in our pursuits, right? And I think, I have failed at that so many times. And so I'm on a journey for the rest of my life of personal growth, for the rest of my life of hoping to have growth days every single day. And part of me growing is saying, how can I show up better? How can I have more joy in life and still put the goodness out into the world I want to, but don't rob the goodness from my own experience because I'm focused on the outcome, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because here's the super downer for everybody is the outcome is life doesn't go forever. That's the truth. And it's such a good reminder. I think all personal development centers on the fact that life is short, that we're blessed to be here, that we should live it while we're here, that we should feel it while we're here. It's why I'm always saying that phrase, feel the day, feel the day. You have to, because otherwise all the days go by, you achieved a lot, but you weren't alive and aligned. Yeah. So you didn't have any fulfillment or satisfaction, even though you climbed an amazing mountain. I mean, how many friends do we know? They climbed an amazing mountain, and they literally are unhappy. They're literally lost. They are literally like in a place, and it's not because they're not smart. It's not because they didn't do so many things, or that it's because they forgot the fundamental essence of life is to live life, and to live life encourages you to be intentional about feeling it. Otherwise, it all blurs together. I know so many people. 2020 blurred together for them. Right? Other people is like, oh my God, it took forever. One of the things is like how much people actually feel and experience the day. And so some people are more sensitive to time and more sensitive to experience than other people. And what happened, unfortunately, in I really believe the last decades of media is we become desensitized to life because distraction leads to desensitization. I don't think I said that right. Distraction leads to becoming desensitized. That sounds right. Yeah. Distraction leads to I know people quote me. I'm going to get this one right. Distraction leads to being desensitized. And so what happens? You're desensitized. You don't feel the day, even though you're busy. But the problem is busyness also leads to being desensitized. So you have to teach yourself to feel the wins, feel the experience, feel the journey, but also not just because sometimes people like Brendon, it feels terrible. I'm like, that's exactly why we trademarked bring the joy. It says, I don't feel this, I don't feel that. You bring the emotion, you bring the feeling. You don't hope that life gives you that great one day of blessings and purpose and spirituality and fulfillment and connection with God and achievement. You bring into the day the feelings and the emotions and the energy upon which you want to experience in life. And I think when we do that, that's the focus, isn't it? The focus is generating the feelings of life. And when we can do that, that's the vision. I tell people all the time, that's the vision for the feelings of your life on the daily.
And realizing that, we have so much control, not full control always, but we have so much control over how we create those feelings, what we focus on, how we bring those feelings. That's huge, right? That's huge. A lot of people don't realize that. They think that feelings happen to them. And, one thing you always talk about is, your power plants don't have energy, they create energy. And, yesterday, these are the 20-hour days up until my book launch of Believe It. And yesterday around 5 p.m., I knew how much I still wanted to do that day. And I felt like I hit a wall. And I remembered those words. And this is something that I love. We talk about the power of the GrowthDay morning show. We talk about a lot of these words and these ideas and these stories taking root. And you may not need to call on them today, but all of a sudden you're in a moment, you're like, oh yeah, this is how Brendon got through it. Or this is what Jamie said happened to her. And like these stories we share together. And just yesterday around 5 p.m., I literally had so little energy left and I had so much to do. And this is not an ad. I have nothing to do with HPX supplements at all, but I took my HPX supplements for Optimize and then I went on a walk. I literally went on a walk in my driveway. No, in my driveway, like not going, like for an hour because I was like, okay, I need to get some energy, right? So I tried to remember your words about power plant doesn't have energy, it creates energy. I'm like, I got to create some energy. Like I
Yeah.
need to take ownership over this. Let me go move my body and create some energy.
I did the same thing last night.
Did you really?
I did the same thing. It was like 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night. And I had a project I was working on that I wanted to give another 2 hours to. And I was just not feeling it. I said, gosh, I want to give 2 more hours to this. So you know what I'd better do? I'd better take 30 minutes to go refresh myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I put on my shoes. I went outside. I put on the earphones. I called my best friend from college, who we always laugh together. We have a great time together. I did a big loop, just 30-minute like speed walk, talking with my friend, quick catch up. We laughed and joked about a bunch of memories, came back in and just crushed the next 2 hours. And then felt great, felt fulfilled. I was like, okay, cool. It was like an unbelievable amount of productivity. The truth is, I didn't finish the project, but I progressed it with great energy. And so it's not always about, did you complete everything? It's, are you progressing with great energy? Because you know what? You progress with great energy enough days in a row, my friends, magic happens in your life. But it takes progress and it takes good energy. And then the magic happens.
And you know
magic
what?
happens, then if you think magic will happen, then I'll progress, then I'll achieve different about myself. No. It's like progress, good energy, magic.
And I would even argue that like the victory wasn't even that you progressed. It was that when you had those feelings, you did something about it.
Yes.
And you chose,
Yes.
right? You chose to say, let me see, let me try to take ownership and let me see based on all the stuff I know, if I can actually create the feeling or the momentum or the,
It was a growth day moment. That's what we got to call those. It was a growth day moment because you know what it could have been? You know what it could have been? It was a growth day moment. It was a growth day decision because what it could have been, the lower impulsive myself said, most people don't work this late. You know what? I deserve to go have a big bucket of popcorn and a half a bottle of wine and watch a Netflix show because, I work hard. And no, it's like, but one is focus and discipline, a growth day moment. And one is just lowering myself for the vision I have. And I'm not saying, people are going to be like, oh my God, how are you saying this? I'm not saying popcorn and wine are bad. What I'm saying is when you've decided to do something and the resistance enters your body and your mind that says, quit, stop, not now. It's a difference. Notice, I am not out of alignment in my life. I'm not out of well-being. I'm not out of harmony. Those things are all in place. It was a moment of decision to keep going or to quit because it would be easier, because I was tired, right?
And you knew what you wanted to do. You knew what you wanted to do. So and similarly, just to add to something you just said, you are also so good about saying like, oh, your wife, you and Denise, we're going to have, on this day, we're going to have pina coladas and we're going to celebrate. Like you do just as much of that, right? So it's not about being like, oh, disciplined or whatever, about just productivity. It's like, oh, it's saying, how can I have a growth moment and generate the energy that I'm hoping to show up for tonight because this project's important to me. Or
it's what we call focus and discipline. Because guess what? I had a clear block of time in which I was supposed to do something. But how many people know they're supposed to do something and they quit halfway in? And we're not talking about life or big, we're talking about that hour. We're talking about that moment. And that's the thing. That focus was there. I knew what I had to do. And when I didn't want to do it, I didn't quit. Resistance isn't the signal to quit. Resistance is the signal to check your commitment. Am I really committed to this? I am. So how would I have to show up? Energized. I don't feel energized. How do I get energy? Call a great friend, move my body. Great. Call a great friend, move my body, come in and crush it. That's discipline. Discipline looks like a decision where you overcome the resistance. Discipline looks like a decision where you overcome the resistance. The fatigue or the tired or the excuse or the rationale that says, I'll do it later, because I'll do it later is where you put off all of your dreams to years and years later. And someday magically doesn't appear for you. And you're like, oh, I thought I was going to do that. And now there's regret at the end of life. I think these little moments, I think we'll coin the phrase today, growth day moments, where you overcome the defiance, overcome the resistance, overcome the ease, to just stay focused on path to what you know you should do that particular moment. Just like at a workout, you know, you're 16 minutes in, but you scheduled 45, you're 16 minutes, you're like, I'm just gonna, no, do the 45. If there's that moment where you get on that next machine, or you do that next lap, or you just that one extra one gets you over the hump and you finish the 45 minutes. And you're like, okay, good job today. That was my growth day moment. That was the overcoming of the impulse for ease, because comfort and ease are not going to take you to the level. Challenge and commitment will take you to the other level.
Yeah, that's so good. And it's so easy to commit to just like watching The Bachelor and pouring wine in my coffee mug. And that's easy to commit, but it's those moments when you're like, oh, it's the hard stuff, right? And I love
those things I want everyone to hear. Those are fine. If it's the night to sit down and watch The Bachelor and the popcorn and the wine, I do that with my wife. I got no problem with it.
I'm so proud of you for doing that with Denise.
Yes. I worked for it.
not to be like TMI this morning, but I told Paulo, I'm like, Paulo, so Brendon watches The Bachelor with Denise. And he hates the show my husband hates the show. Like if he sees it's on, it's like, it's like kryptonite for Superman. He can't.
Nope. If that's my moment, if that's the time. I want everyone always hears me say this thing. Thank you. Everyone hears these things. Oh, Brendon, he's so disciplined. He must be a robot. I'm like, oh no, I vacation like a champ. When it's time to vacation, it's time to vacation. When it's time to watch a movie with the family, we're watching the movie. Like when it's time to do the trip like my life, I'm so proud of the balance that I've maintained for 20 years, not because I'm so smart, because I faced my death twice. You face your death a few times, you don't have to that perspective. Once it's in your body, you realize how short it is, and you take the time for yourself. You take the vacation. One thing my friend and I talked about last night was a guy's trip we're going to take this year. Nice. And once we all get vaccinated, it was like, okay, we're going to take this trip, and we're going to go. And so it was like, we're putting that out there, and taking these times off, these weeks off, or these moments off, or maybe it's your night off with the movie. Or your night with the cheat night even The Rock does cheat nights. It's right, that's scheduled. But guess when he doesn't do his cheat night? When he's in 16 minutes of a 45-minute workout. That's when he doesn't turn to the cheat. See?
Yeah. That's cheat meaning his food. Cheat meaning his food. Cheat meals. Yeah.
Cheat meals. So it's like that's what I want you to hear. Even The Rock has full nights of total off movie Cinnabons, like sushi.
Which might be my favorite part about what he does. Just to add that in.
Everyone has that. I have that as well. I'm not comparing myself to The Rock. Clearly, I have guns though. What I'm saying is, you have to realize that it's when you quit in the focused effort, when you quit in the middle of the workout, when you quit in the middle of the project, when you quit in the middle. Those are the times where you're cheating greatness. You're not cheating greatness when you take a night off, or you take a vacation, or you take a spa visit, or you do your yoga. That's not bad. You schedule those things. You do those things. That's how you keep balance and joy and harmony in your life, which are completely possible. Anyone who says that balance or harmony is not possible in your life has never in their lives seriously coached another person for multiple years. They're great at making memes. They're great at social media. They're great at playing to everybody's biggest fears. But anyone who's ever said that has never been in psychology. They've never been in therapy. They've never been in the transformation space to see what is possible for people to realign themselves and to strive satisfied with alignment, with harmony. When they don't see that, when they haven't been part of that journey, what happened is they fell in their own beliefs about it. And it's confirmation bias. It is not market reality. It is not the research. It is incredibly possible to strive to the highest levels in the world with full life satisfaction, deeply meaningful relationships, a healthy body. It doesn't mean you have to have it all, but you better know you can. With enough intention, enough focus, enough discipline, you better know that life can feel really good, really happy, even as you're working hard. I work super hard, but I'm super happy. Crazy. What an idea. Anyway, okay, we got to go. We're way over today.
Way over.
You got fired up. I got fired up. It's the Growth Day Morning Show.
Yes.
If this is your first time with me and Jamie, please, this is part of something we call Growth Day. You can go to growthday.com and become an official member. Official members get 2 live trainings every single week with one of the best personal development coaches and teachers. Last night, David Bach went and he taught our group about how to have confidence in money. And it changed people's generational wealth. That stuff happens when you're an official member, but you got to go to growthday.com and sign up to get the full trainings and the full coaching from our community. So growthday.com, become a full member. It's an absolutely outstanding community where we're busting goodness into your ears, giving you the best coaches and community possible. We have an app coming out that you get for free as well when you sign up at growthday.com. This can be your day for personal growth. This can be that day you committed to and you remember and you go, that was the day I got myself a community. I got better coaches. I committed to making my life the absolute best that I could. This is that day. Make today your growth day. Click the button on this page and sign up right now.